We're going to talk more about that in a bit. This year has been a bit of a weird one for all of us, hasn't it? Almost every small business, even in the world, would have struggled at some point this year due to the absolute shitstorm that is COVID. Right back in March, when the whole of the UK went in lockdown, instead of seeing lockdown as this extended holiday, I've invested in quite a bit of kit over the summer, knowing that it will benefit me from both a business perspective and a creative perspective. By the way, what do you reckon to the angle? Normally I'm front on, but I feel like this makes the room look a little bit bigger, and I don't know, I like it. So if you want to find out about my favourite filmmaking purchases of 2020, then I will meet you back here straight after the intro. So in this episode, I'm going to go through my 5 favourite purchases of 2020 so far. Even though I'd like to think that everything that I do buy will benefit me in some way, these are the top 5 that I personally feel will benefit me and have the most influence as a filmmaker or a videographer. In fact, let's start in descending order. So at number 5 is the Peak Design Slide Camera Strap. Yep. In fact, where is it? The strap has clearly been designed to help photographers and filmmakers when it comes to efficiency. For instance, one side of the strap has additional grip so that when you're walking around with the camera on your side, it won't go anywhere. Both of the cameras that I own are quite on the heavy side in comparison to other mirrorless cameras. I thought it might struggle, but I've had no problems so far. Another handy feature that comes with the camera strap are these little things called anchor points. These are brilliant little things. These anchor points are used to quickly attach or detach your camera from the strap, and because you get 4 of them, I've got 2 on each camera. So if I want to go out with this one day, I can quickly attach the strap to this. But then if I think at last minute, actually I'm going to take my S1, all I need to do is take them off this and stick them on, and literally I'll show you how quick it takes. 1, done. But I can literally wrap it round and it's good to go. I can twist and that's literally not going anywhere. I've lost count of how many times I've lost that tiny little plastic bit that comes with the standard straps. So this is, to me, just really quickly, it's designed for more than just the sideways approach. It's so easy to twist it round from your side and start shooting straight away. Overall, it is a little bit pricier than your generic camera strap. As soon as you see it and have a go with it, you understand why you're paying that little bit more, because the benefits that this camera strap has over many others out there, it's night and day. Ooh. At number 4 is the DJI focus motor. I own 3 mirrorless cameras in total, and none of them are very good when it comes to autofocus, i.e. they're Panasonics. Therefore, I've never trusted any of them when it comes to using autofocus for events such as weddings, for instance, on a gimbal. Instead, what I do is set a suitable focus distance on the camera before I started recording, hit record, but then I'm already creatively limited in my shot choices because I could really only parallax around the subject or move sideways. So even though this is a little bit of a faff every time you use it, and it does add a considerable amount of weight to the side of the lens that it's positioned on, it's really nice knowing that I can now manually focus on a gimbal using any lens, whether that's native or using something like Speed Booster. If you own the standard Ronin-S kit, the focus wheel that you pair with this is included as standard with the gimbal. However, if you opted for the Essentials version of the Ronin-S, then you need to make sure that you get the focus wheel which goes at the side of the gimbal as well. So just be aware of that depending on whether you already own a Ronin-S or you choose to get one in the future. Next up, which also helps me with the focus motor, is the Atomos Ninja 5. This is a very popular 5.2 inch HDR monitor and recorder, so depending on the camera that you own, it can unlock some pretty nice additional features. When I'm using my Ronin-S and the focus motor, having that larger screen is a lot more helpful when making sure that you're nailing focus every time. I will actually be doing a review of the Atomos 5 in the near future when I've been able to use more of its recording features, but for now, as a monitor, it does the job perfectly well. As a heads up, when you are using the Ronin-S setup with the focus motor and the Ninja 5 attached to the gimbal, it can get quite heavy, especially if you're using it for a prolonged period of time. I also bought a monitor just to support this YouTube setup that I've got going on. At the moment, it's right underneath the camera. If I'm being honest, I probably would have preferred a 7-inch monitor, however, that boosts the price up. In my opinion, having a monitor / recorder, or even just a monitor itself, is a must-have for any videographer who has the desire to shoot higher end productions, either for your benefit or for the benefit of your clients or other crew members who are on set. Instead of all cramming around a tiny little screen at the back of the camera, having something like this away from the camera itself because of the HDI or SDI connection, it just feels a little bit more professional. With Atomos, I know I'm investing in a brand that's got a great reputation and it always puts its customers first. It releases firmware updates that include incredible features such as 5.9K RAW, and having those features for a price tag that isn't off-putting by any stretch is, to me, a worthwhile investment. At number 2 now is the Aperture 120D Mark II. This is still a relatively new purchase, but I know it's going to do wonders for my future work. You can use the light for a range of things, whether that's for speeches at a wedding, a setup like this, an interview setup using a single light source, or even product videography. As a heads up, that's how big it is. So yeah, having that one light that can cover all those styles of shooting is brilliant in my opinion. And even though it is a little bit pricey considering its limitations, which are the fact that it's daylight only, it is a little bit loud at times when using the fan. It's probably on par with the sound that the Ninja 5 releases, so I'm not too worried, but there are other LED lights out there that are near silent, or at least a lot quieter than this. I just know that it's a worthwhile investment and I'm really happy with it. Some of you will know that I recently had the Godox equivalent light and it broke on me on its second use, which made me realise that in situations like this, it's often worth investing in not only the product and the quality of that, but also the reputation of the brand. I appreciate that this isn't the case for all instances in general, but for this one, I think it is. And finally, at number 1, my favourite purchase of this year, hands down, is the Lumix S1. Yesterday was the day that the Lumix S5 was announced, which, for those who don't know, it's almost like the baby of the S1H. So it's got some incredible features. And whilst I'm slightly kicking myself that I didn't wait that little bit longer for that to be released, I'm still impressed with the performance of the S1 so far. It's packed with features that future-proofs my ability technically as a camera operator, such as 4K 60p video, 10-bit color, dynamic range that even compares against the Sony FS7 or the Panasonic VariCam. It's a wonderful camera for the price that you're paying. I'm hoping that a future firmware update by the end of the year does include more than just autofocus improvements that they're currently stating. I'm not wishing on greater resolution or anything like that, because I bought the camera for the features that it has at that time. However, there are a few little things that I wish it could include, such as the option to shoot in a shutter angle rather than a shutter speed. And I also really like the little red bracket recording indicator that it comes with, I believe the S1H, but definitely the S5. If they come in a future firmware update, I'll be happy. Happier than I currently am. So there we have it. They are my 5 favourite purchases of 2020. And whilst my bank account is probably screaming at me not to buy anything else in the near future, I am optimistic that what I have invested in will have a positive effect on my progression as a videographer, as a filmmaker. And that's the message that I want to get across to you guys. I know COVID has caused a lot of upset for many people, whether they've already lost their jobs, they may lose their jobs, or even lose their business in the coming months, all because of this virus. And my heart goes out to anyone who's had that happen to them. The intention of this video is not for me to brag about what I've been fortunate to buy. When we entered lockdown, I thought that all the hard work that I put into my wedding videography business was a waste of time. I thought, I'm not going to see past this now. Instead, I decided that I'm not going to let COVID defeat me and my ambition in life. So although it's been a struggle for me as well, I've stuck to my guns and I've invested where I think it's appropriate and the most sensible time to do that to benefit me in the long run. If you're serious about getting into filmmaking or becoming a freelancer, don't go overboard and get all the equipment that your favorite YouTuber or a fellow filmmaker has, because their needs might be different to yours. Have a think about the types of video that you're wanting to make, because that can have a massive influence on the equipment that you buy. Always have in the back of your mind where you eventually want to be. As always, I really hope that you've enjoyed this video. If you have, be sure to give it a like. It's not just always going to be me sat in front of this table talking like this. I am aiming to go out in the field and share with you guys more tutorials, more kit reviews, that kind of stuff. So if that's the kind of stuff that you're interested in, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Over time, this office is continuing to develop and turn into something that feels more like me. In fact, I'll get your opinion on it. Do I go Lee? Do I go there? Oh, ooh. Or do I go like that, and that? I don't know. So yeah, as always, in the meantime, take care, and I'll see you in the next one.